Morning committee members and other parties of interest. The reconvened evaluation committee meeting for RFP 24-24791 for covered materials processing facility services for the Solid Waste Management Department will be held by means of communications media technology. Active participation will be for committee members only. Provisions have been made for members of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. Public attendees must remain on mute with cameras on. For the record, this meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be available after the meeting has ended. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect and shall end the earlier of 5 business days after the county posts its notice of intent to award the contract associated with the solicitation, or on the date the procurement solicitation is canceled by the county. All questions, comments, and concerns must be directed to my attention. My name is Lisa Demita, and I am the chief buyer for this project. Again, for the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record, beginning with committee chairperson Stephanie Watson.
Good morning, I'm Stephanie Watson. I'm the section manager of the Sustainable Materials Management section in Hillsborough County Solid Waste Management Department.
Good morning, I'm Brian Johnson, Division Director, Business and Support Services for the Solid Waste Management Department.
Morning, John Muller, Director for Facilities Management Real Estate Services, Hillsborough County.
Morning, Damien Tremel, Solid Waste Management Department Director, Hillsborough County.
Thank you, everyone. The committee has reconvened today and will evaluate the original proposals, the best and final offers, and the oral presentations from both firms. Each firm will be evaluated based on the following criteria. Criteria 1, qualifications, experience, references, RFP Form 4, 10 points. Criteria 2, financial strength, risk assessment, and safety performance, 5 points. Criteria 3, approach to providing RMPF services, 20 points. Criteria 4, processing fee price, 65 points. After the committee completes its evaluation, this score will be provided by procurement based upon the best and final offer unit pricing, which does not take into consideration the offered additional revenue. Criteria 5, DMDWBE bonus points. These were already established and will remain the same. I will now turn the meeting over to Chairperson Stephanie Watson to lead the discussion with the evaluation committee to complete the final evaluation and scoring of both firms.
Thank you, Lisa. The evaluation committee will start with the scoring for background resources. So does anyone feel that there needs to be a change to our original score on criteria 1, which was qualification?
Sorry, we're moving to. Sorry about that.
Good.
Okay.
So we're asking if the committee have any change to our original score on criteria 1. We scored 10 out of 10 points. And I can start, and then we'll go to you, Brian,
Okay.
and then to you, John. So nothing was submitted in this area that gave me reason to decrease the score. Brian, would you like to?
No, I think the score was appropriate. I didn't find anything upon review that would cause me to really score, reduce, because it's at the max, so any change would be a reduction. So I didn't find a reason to make a change.
I concur. No reason to adjust it.
Thank you both. So Lisa, the committee is confirming the original score for criteria 1 of 10 out of 10 points. So next for Balcones resources, does anyone feel that there needs to be a change to our original score on criteria 2, which is the financial strength, risk assessment, and safety performance? We scored 5 out of 5. And Brian, we'll start with you on this one.
Okay. No, I think the submission was very comprehensive and detailed and justified the score of 5, and I don't have cause to change.
No, I don't have any reason to change the score.
I'm in concurrence, Lisa, that nothing was submitted to give me reason to decrease the score in this criteria number 2. So we are in consensus, Lisa, that criteria 2 score 5 out of 5 will remain. Next, for Falcon County's resources, we will start with criteria 3, which is approach to providing RMPS services. We scored a 20 out of 20 points. So I can start the discussion as far as comments. In the proposal for the BAFO, that's the final offer, as far as strength, Balcones confirmed it had purchased the property where the RMPF will be constructed, and they now own the property. They also provided letters of recommendation from their off-take partners who manufacture and sell in Florida, which means that they will have long-term reliable providers. And I also noted that Balcones strengthened their approach to upgrade every potential item to a marketable commodity to recover as much material as possible to send to end markets. For example, the sorted office paper, the aluminum cans, and the film and flexible packaging, which will ultimately increase. I know we're not considering revenue, but it will increase the county's revenue share in the AMV. I just wanted to note that. So those were positives and strengths that I found. However, we already have scored 20 out of 20 points. So this only confirmed that that was the appropriate score for me. I didn't see any reason to decrease the score in this area. Brian, I'll start with you.
I agree, this area was already submitted very strong. We didn't deduct at all, and somehow they found a way to make it even stronger. But for the sake of brevity, there is nothing that causes concern that would justify a reduction, so comfortable with the maximum score of 1.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, well said,
Thank you.
well stated. I agree with everything you said.
Thank you, John. So for Lisa, for criteria 3 for Balcones resources, the evaluation committee confirms the original score of 20 out of 20 points. Moving on, evaluation committee will start with scoring for WM. As Lisa mentioned, based on your original RFP, the BAFO proposal, and the oral presentation. Does anyone feel there needs to be a change to our original score in criteria 1, qualifications, experience, and references? We originally scored 10 out of 10 points. And I will start. I didn't find any information in the proposal that, or the oral presentation that changed my score of 10 out of 10 points. Brian?
I concur. There's a strong section for this bidder, and I find no reason to change the score deducted anyway.
I agree also. No reason to change that score.
Thank you, John. Lisa, we're in consensus that criteria 1 for W remained 10 out of 10 points. Next, for the WM score of criteria 2, financial strength, risk assessment, and safety performance, we had scored 5 out of 5 points. Brian, we'll start with you. Was there anything in the proposals that made you want to change your score?
Well, even though we had a consensus score of 5, I think there were some stated concerns about the different section, which is, it is a different section, but I was talking about the operations, the flow of the proposed facilities.
Sure.
That's approach. Okay.
Let's talk.
Okay, so I'll defer that.
Okay.
But to answer the question, no, I don't see cause to change the score of 5 for financial strength, risk assessment, and safety.
Yeah, they provided some additional information, which I thought was helpful, clarify what we read already on their income, cash flow, and balance sheet statements. So I thought that was good. No reason to but keep it right where it is.
Thank you, John. Okay, so Lisa, we're in consensus that criteria 2 score for WM remains 5 out of 5 points. And next, evaluation committee, we will discuss the criteria 3 approach to providing RMPS services. We had scored 20 out of 20 points. Brian, since you had questions about the traffic pattern and approach, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think as I said before, we felt the submittal was strong enough to give 20 points, but there were questions. And I think they've done an excellent job of addressing those questions with the follow-up information that was provided. So I no longer have questions, but it also strengthened an already strong section. So I don't recommend changing that score at all.
On that same note with the traffic pattern, I see in the backup proposal, WM is proposing to give the county its own dedicated scale. And they've shown on the plans where that would be located. For me, it's, we had discussed that the proposed traffic pattern was somewhat less safe than the balconies. I see that they're proposing to have a dedicated traffic operator at the pinch point. I mean, I do acknowledge they still have a pinch point of incoming and outgoing traffic. I believe that they've provided justification to show that they can manage the traffic appropriately. So I don't have a reason to change my thoughts on that at this time. The other thing that I wanted to discuss is the alley vacation deed requires WM to construct on the deeded property within 5 years, or the property would revert back to the city of Tampa. WM is in the process of vacating utilities located in the alley, and they've committed to complete the construction within 16 months. I don't necessarily have any concerns that they wouldn't be able to complete the construction within 5 years, but I wanted to get y'all's thoughts. I think it's pretty low risk.
I think, again, you stated well, I saw the traffic improvements. They did provide the documentation that they're along in their process. They vacated, they got the deed simple. Of course, that's, I would say, not atypical. The city saying, great, we did this, now please go ahead and build if so awarded. Yes, I don't see any reason to adjust their score.
So I'm confirming, I don't see any reason to adjust this score.
I agree. I'm curious, do you feel that minor vulnerability is a blemish?
On what,
Because officially,
what vulnerability do you mean?
well, they lose the property, they don't build a certain point.
Well, it would say 5 years from now, if they don't build this plant, we just award. I think, but yeah, I think there would be, I'm assuming that, if awarded, right? I can't say one way or another, that has not been determined, but they've committed to building it. So, yeah.
Right, so it sounds like we are in consensus that criteria score remains 20 out of 20 points. Lisa, thank you. Did the committee have any other questions or comments that they wanted to discuss that we haven't covered?
But just to clarify, we reviewed everything. Both in the original had gotten the maximum points and okay.
And we're not changing them.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we discussed quite a bit on the 13th about revenue, but that is not part of what we're discussing today with criteria 1, 2, and 3. So we've already discussed that on 13th. So Lisa, the evaluation committee is confirming that we are in consensus with the original scores and the original full points for both proposals.
And then DM DMD, WMB stays
That's the.
as it is. Okay, that did not, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So now that your discussions and final consensus scoring are completed, we will begin confirming the final scores. For Balcones Resources, criteria 1, a consensus score of 10. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 5. Criteria 3, a consensus score of 20. Is everyone in agreement with these scores?
Yes.
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 For waste management, criteria 1, a consensus score of 10. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 5. And criteria 3, a consensus score of 20. Is everyone in agreement with these scores?
Yes.
Yes.
Criteria 4, processing fee price has been calculated as follows. For Balcones Resources, 51.59 points. For waste management, 65 points. Criteria 5, DMDWBE bonus points were previously established and remain the same. Balcones Resources, 0 points, and waste management, 0 points.
Yeah, I want to read one thing into the record. Sorry, just to clarify, because Lisa had asked this question about their permit requirements. Reading directly from the city document. And it says, the petitioner must be issued a permit. No later than 5 years after the effective date of this ordinance, petitioner must be issued a permit. So keep that in mind. What you had talked about, I think you had used the words construction. It actually says permit, which in essence gives them more time. So please just keep this, sorry to jump the order here, but it's structured in my mind, so I just want to clarify that.
So before I continue, we've gone through the final consensus scoring and everyone has agreed. Is everyone still in agreement with the scores that I just read?
Yes.
Yes.
Since we have all of the scores, I will now announce the final consensus score for each company. For Balcones Resources, final consensus score is 86.59. For Waste Management, the final consensus score is 100. Stephanie, please prepare and send the evaluation summary memorandum with your recommendation. I will consider the meeting completed, and we will get the recording of the meeting posted as soon as possible. I will complete the spreadsheet for the final consensus scoring and print it before you leave so that I can obtain everyone's signature. Thank you all for attending. I will now close the meeting.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.